To start today's ceremony, a brass quintet from the MU School of Music will play Fanfare for Science, a one-of-a-kind avant-garde fanfare composed by Luis Hermano Becerra.
Good morning, and welcome. My name is Lata Ramchand, and I serve as provost here at the University of Missouri, Columbia. It is both a pleasure and my privilege to welcome every one of you to the grand opening of the Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health facility. We are honored and thankful to be joined today by our current and former Board of Curators. Thank you all for being here. We're also grateful to all our elected officials who are here to support us. We could not have done this without your support. Thank you so much for being here. Our donors, you helped us convert our ideas into the reality that you see today. Our NextGen Advisory Board members, for your stewardship. We are excited to be joined today by chancellors, leaders, faculty, staff, students of all our sister campuses. It is your commitment that is our inspiration for this facility. Thank you for being here. We're also excited to be joined by our colleagues from MU Healthcare, from the Veterans Hospital, our industry partners from Siemens Healthineers, Thermo Fisher Scientific, AAA Novartis, Roche, our teams of architects, engineers, construction teams, every one of you who supported us, from Burns & McDonnell, Whitting Turner, thank you so much. And we are especially honored to have with us today Dr. Francis Collins, Director of the National Institutes for Health. Thank you. Friends, we gather here today to celebrate a very special moment, The University of Missouri's NextGen Precision Health facility is the coming together, as you will hear today, of several strands of discovery, innovation, research, plant science, animal science, veterinary science, nursing, medicine, engineering, biomedical engineering, radiopharmaceuticals. Our faculty, our researchers, our scholars are dedicated to finding solutions to the disease burdens that impact our communities and our society. However, our version and our vision for NextGen Precision Health is more than just research that happens inside a lab. It is about telling the story of science in a way that we can all relate to through the work that is done by Mizzou's J School, where science journalism is a lived experience. It is also about helping resolve some of the health disparities in our community through the work that is done on all our system campuses by our faculty in the schools of social work, health professions. It is the work that our colleagues do to take these solutions and to improve the lives of the veterans we serve at the Veterans Hospital here, and we're so delighted to have our partnership with the Veterans Hospital. Through the work that our faculty colleagues do at the Veterans Clinic at MU's Law School. And there is more. The brass quintet that you just heard composed a piece, Fanfare for Science, specially for this occasion. It was composed by a student, Luis Belleja, with help from faculty in MU School of Music. And Luis was inspired by the 7T MRI machine that is inside this building. And as he shared, both 7 and T can be understood to be musical intervals. And this composition was based entirely on that interval. So thank you, Luis. Our vision for precision health is also about telling the story of science through movement, through dance, as you will see on the screens inside, work that was composed by our colleagues at UMKC's Conservatory. Thank you. It is also about telling the story of science through visual art. Some of the beautiful art installations in the first floor of this building were created by Professor Katina Bitsikas, a faculty member and an artist in Mizzou's School of Visual Studies. And Professor Bitsikas has dedicated this artwork in memory of her late father, who she lost to mantle cell lymphoma. But friends, the true test and the true part of this vision that makes this so unique is that our vision for precision health is really about our commitment to our land grant mission. Thanks to the work of our extension professionals, the true test of success for this facility will be that day, not too far in the future, when every citizen of Missouri can proudly look to this facility and say, this research made a difference, this research changed lives. Thank you all for being here. May I now direct your attention to the screens, wherever they are, where you will hear from others who have supported us along this journey. Thank you.
I'm a firm believer that NextGen Precision Health is going to take this university to new levels.
This facility gives us the opportunity to not only increase our research, but I mean to double, triple our research capacity.
The ability to help grow medical science from bench to bedside will be fantastic here at NextGen.
Today, we're opening doors. Welcome to a new era for precision health. Welcome to the Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health building.
NextGen is where the future of healthcare is. It's the right treatment for the right time for the right person, and really figuring out what individually allows us to fight off the challenges we face health-wise.
The NextGen Precision Health initiative leverages the power of the University of Missouri's statewide infrastructure to transform healthcare and save lives by finding cures to some of the most common diseases. Our state's support of this project illustrates our partnership to improve the lives of our citizens.
We want the state to be healthy. We want the state to be innovative. We want the state to be forward-looking. This encompasses all of that. There was nothing else that I could find that would be more rewarding and more substantive than investing in NextGen.
From the research teams who will make great discoveries in these halls to the industry partnerships positively impacted by this investment, Mizzou is well equipped to make a difference in not only the lives of our fellow Missourians, but also Americans all across the country.
Research. It's what sets this initiative apart and what will fuel our next great breakthrough in healthcare. The University of Missouri is home to world-class scientists, clinicians, and industry leaders. And through NextGen, we can streamline their work, bringing life-changing solutions to the patients that need them.
I'm very lucky to be a stage 4 cancer survivor. One of the things I learned through that journey is that if we want to have treatments where people don't have to go through the horrific surgery and the very traumatic conditions that I went through to treat cancer, we have to do research.
The leaders of the University of Missouri had a vision to make an investment that will strengthen the research, productivity, and performance of our faculty, but at the same time, delivering advanced healthcare to Missourians throughout the state. NextGen is a realization of that vision.
We knew we could do something special here on MU's campus, drive our research, our clinical practice, and also just make the lives of Missourians better.
One area, for example, is in the area of advanced materials and glass, where one of our faculty members created radiated glass. These are glass spheres that can be radioactive, and they have been able to treat inoperable liver cancer.
We are going to specialize in the area of data analytics and data science, which will bring data from Columbia hospitals and from local hospitals to analyze that and then give the results back to the practicing clinicians.
This is going to be a game changer in the lives of Missourians and allows the University of Missouri system to continue to lead in this really important area for Missouri.
Our work is already attracting partners, private and public corporations that can help us advance our mission and theirs. The relationships we're building, the collaborations we're embracing, offer opportunities that aren't replicated anywhere but here.
The NextGen Precision Health Institute will have some of the most advanced life science instruments. One potential use case that we found fascinating when we started the discussions with Missouri is in plant biochemistry, where you guys have some really fantastic and unique talent studying in this area.
What we're doing is bringing the best together of both institutions, Siemens Healthineers and the University of Missouri. And that's academic expertise, clinical expertise, and engineering expertise.
I'm just really glad that we can have this partnership, that we can continue to enhance and evolve our research missions, and that it is going to be such a positive impact, not only for research, not only for the university and the VA, but really for our Columbia community in general.
The NextGen initiative began like all things, as a vision. But visions don't become reality without dedication and support. For early advocates like Tom Atkins, NextGen was more than a good cause. It was a necessary step in transforming healthcare for Missourians and beyond.
Those who knew my father knew he was passionate about all things Missouri, all things Boone County, all things Columbia, and all things the university. And I think he would be moved by the success of this building.
I think it's going to change the way we teach. I think it's going to change the way that students learn, because we'll provide a lot more hands-on opportunities for them. And I think it will transform the way that people perceive the university.
Because of the focus on bench to bedside, we're going to have students working on every aspect of our research discovery to healthcare delivery. It may involve students that help discover the next isotope for cancer research, to students that actually develop the robotic arms that are going to deliver neurological disease prevention.
The Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health building will serve as a nexus, bringing together cutting-edge research, technologies, and treatments to transform healthcare and save lives. Today, we open its doors to welcome a new era for Missouri and the world.
How exciting was that? And for those of you that have been hearing about NextGen, the day is finally here. And we are so honored to have all of you joining us. I want to remind all of you about a date, important date, June 4th, 1895. On that date, the Board of Curators made an important declaration at the grand opening of Jesse Hall, our most iconic building. That came 3 years after the devastating fire of Academic Hall that destroyed 80% of the capacity of the university. And the message was clear. Mizzou, MU, will rebuild, not only rebuild, but become a stronger research university. Today, the board is making another important declaration of its strong commitment to our AAU and land grant mission, and I can't thank them enough. So I am very excited to ask the chair of the Board of Curators, Mr. Darrell Chapman, to provide us some remarks on behalf of the Board of Curators. Curator Chapman?
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you, President Choi, for your leadership in spearheading this incredible accomplishment. A few years ago, the board declared NextGen Precision Health the university's highest capital funding project. The vision for the NextGen building and initiatives we celebrate today supports the key areas of our mission: student success, research, engagement, and outreach, all in service of Missourians. And as President Choi said, our commitment to NextGen was based on our belief that it would strengthen our university and improve the lives of our citizens and communities across the state of Missouri. We know that a healthier population provides a more productive workforce. We also know that Missouri is ranked low nationally overall in health. NextGen will not only address those disparities, but will also expand the state's economy in the process. While anchored and driven here at Mizzou, the NextGen initiative will bring together researchers and clinicians from all 4 system universities and MU Healthcare. And these facilities represent built-in partnerships with industry partners, making the University of Missouri a vibrant partner in innovation and a leader in translating scientific discoveries to people who need them here and around the globe. I'm proud to represent the board today in congratulating the University of Missouri on this milestone. It is now my privilege to welcome Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe to the platform.
Well, thank you, Darrell. It's great to see such a great crowd on a beautiful day in Central Missouri at our flagship university. I just can't help but think, and I've mentioned to a few people this morning, if you took us back about 5 years ago, and Darrell was there, I think Jeff was there, we were just welcoming a new guy on board named Moon Choi, and we met him down in the Capitol, and we thought, this guy, he's got his hands full here. But because of curators like that and those that followed them, and because of President Choi's vision in building a relationship back not only with the community, not only with academia, not only with the citizens of Missouri and the students, but with the elected officials, this facility became a reality. Without Dr. Choi's leadership and the curators, this would not happen. I know there's a ton of elected officials, a lot of House members here. Matter of fact, I think they have a quorum, and so that's a little bit of danger. But one of those then House members, now Senator Caleb Rowden, is with us, and he has been the voice for Mizzou, and I just can't thank Caleb enough for really always reminding the building how important the footprint is here, as well as his predecessor, Kurt Schaefer. Those two have done an incredible job of bringing us to this spot today, as well as Congresswoman Hartzler, who has always been a true champion for what Mizzou is doing and the research that we have here. Now, as I was driving up today, I thought it's just really surreal that they would ask a car dealer to make decisions at a precision health center. And Dr. Choi said 2 minutes. I said, I made my life in 30-second commercials. That's eternity in 2 minutes. But I thought the story of who this building is named after is even more American and even more Missourian. The son of a dairy farmer from southwest Missouri, first in his family to go to college, who then ended up spending his career fighting for Missourians in all aspects of life. And never will you find a champion more involved in not only our higher education process, but in the research and development process of what's not only going to affect Missourians, but people around the globe. So thank you, Senator Blunt, for your leadership in making this happen. And last but not least, for the business people in the crowd, that's what I always like to look at as the business case. The investment in this facility is amazing. You talk about return on investment. There's three that I want to talk about very quickly. Over the next 25 years, we'll see a $5 billion impact on our state's economy with over 225 million going to our state's general revenue. That is a heck of a return on investment. But the last point I'm going to make, the real return on investment is not the money. It's about Missourians. It's about what this facility will offer that they never ever have had access to. It's not only urban health, it's rural health. It's people that need access to help. Some in the audience with us today for very rare conditions that they never had hope of before. Now this building represents hope. And that's the real return on investment, is the lives of all of our future citizens that will stand on our shoulders just like we stood on the shoulders of the people before us. Thank you so much for being here this morning, and God bless.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Kehoe. Let me take this opportunity to ask our elected officials who are with us today to stand and be recognized. You have been incredibly supportive of this university, and your commitment to Missourian has been incredible. So thank you. All right. The central paradigm shift that we have in this building was designed from the beginning, and that was to have researchers working side by side with clinicians to make the breakthroughs happen even faster than the fastest. And in this next video, you're going to see the incredible work that can be accomplished through this facility. So let's roll the tape.
So the NextGen Precision Health building really embodies our commitment to research excellence. NextGen is focused on basically every facet of human health. This is cardiovascular metabolic disorders, infectious disease, cancer, maternal, infant, and child health, as well as other areas.
Everybody's life is impacted by cancer. Nobody does not have a painful cancer story. By testing new therapies in chemotherapy, targeted therapies, and immunotherapy in dogs and cats, with their shorter lifespan, we can understand their outcomes faster and identify more quickly biomarkers that help us understand how to treat these cancers in people too.
So that's the ultimate, our goal is everyone can be free from dementia. This is a devastating disease. We haven't heard any single Alzheimer's disease survivor at this point, which means that once a person develops Alzheimer's disease, the survival chances are slim. So our approach is not to give them the therapeutic to reverse the course when they develop symptoms. Instead, we want to come in early enough to prevent them getting the disease from the beginning.
Sleep apnea is this condition in which when you go to sleep, your air passages get either tight or collapse altogether. Over time, complications start developing. Some of the complications affect the cardiovascular system, others affect the cognition and the brain. You can have a very bad outcome, which could be prevented if we knew.
So the NextGen Precision Health Initiative is kind of uniquely focused on bringing together clinicians, clinician scientists, and basic researchers. And this real team approach is important for healthcare discovery as well as application to solve human health problems.
And that's really how I come here, because I know there's scientists not only in neuroscience, but they also in cardiovascular disease and metabolic syndrome. And all these components actually also contributing into Alzheimer's disease.
I'm excited about all of the imaging equipment. To be able to see things in the central nervous system with a 7 Tesla MRI and then image the function of that anatomy using the PET scanner is an amazing opportunity.
Identifying the brain changes early on is very important to know what's the likelihood and how much the disease has progressed. So we need higher resolution, higher sensitivity of scanner to help us to achieve that goal.
So the NextGen Precision Health building has some unique aspects. One of the most important aspects is actually the clinical translational science unit.
Because I can translate my findings from the animal models into clinical trials so quickly through the NextGen resources, my hope is that this treatment can apply broadly and quickly to the broader population of the patients. The more the time you can save, the more life you can save.
I look forward to more radioactive drugs that help us see cancer earlier and more specifically, and help us kill cancer where it lives with less toxicity to the body. If we can make those treatments more endurable, less toxic, more comfortable, we'll have made a huge step forward in patient life quality.
So we have been very involved in developing biomarkers of disease. These unique biomarkers can provide us with a unique fingerprint of their disease. Same disease, but 2 very different presentations need to be treated in very different ways. That by the virtue of that fingerprint, we can resolve the issue of sleep apnea and the consequences without necessarily implementing a treatment that would be the standard treatment. So there's no standard, there's only personal.
I just want to bring people hope. We are here coming up solution to help you through this NextGen buildings effort. The success will look like to me is someday someone will come to me saying that, Dr. Lin, thank you for your research. So now my family will not worry about getting Alzheimer's at all.
Success looks like change in human lives. When we can impact the lives of Missourians with real health advances in prevention, in nutrition, in exercise, in medicine, we will have brought the promise of this building into reality.
Very exciting. Our next speaker is Dr. Tali Altis, Professor and Chair of Radiology, who we recruited 5 years ago from the University of Virginia through the promise of NextGen. And since then, she has recruited outstanding scientists from around the country to develop one of the leading imaging faculty group in the country. So we're so excited about the work that she's going to be doing in partnership with our incredible partners, the Siemens Health and Ears and Varian. Dr. Altis.
Every time I see a NextGen video, I get inspired and excited when I think about what is to come. As a clinician researcher, the opening of the NextGen building marks the expansion of research, patient care, and healthier lives for the people of Missouri and beyond. For patients, the state-of-the-art imaging equipment will allow us to capture more precise images than ever before to better understand disease progression, treatment effectiveness, and to prevent, diagnose, and cure diseases. For our research efforts, there are countless ways in which we will all benefit from the sheer number of interdisciplinary crossroads presented inside this building. For imaging alone, like President Choi said, we have been able to engage and recruit truly brilliant minds to come to NextGen. We have 6 new medical imaging scientists who are joining or recently joined Mizzou. None would have considered Mizzou had it not been for the world-class imaging equipment, the multidisciplinary and collaborative research environment, and the ability to quickly translate their discoveries to clinical patients, all fostered by the NextGen Precision Health building. Our new imaging scientists are advancing science in areas such as Alzheimer's, as you heard on the video, brain tumor characterization, and cardiac imaging. Precision health changes lives. And there are few leaders who understand that as well as our next speaker. Dr. Francis Collins, the director of the National Institute of Health, or NIH, is a physician geneticist noted for developing the chromosome jumping technique that led to his landmark sequencing of the genes that cause a variety of genetic diseases, including cystic fibrosis, Huntington's disease, and neurofibromatosis. His research from approximately 30 years ago was the foundation that led to the development of highly effective modulator therapies for cystic fibrosis that have transformed the lives of people with cystic fibrosis. In 1993, he assumed the leadership of the International Human Genome Sequencing Consortium, the group that successfully carried out the Human Genome Project. Upon the publication of the majority of the human genome in 2001, Dr. Collins noted that the genome could be thought of in terms of a book with multiple uses. He said, "It's a transformative textbook of medicine with insights that will give healthcare providers immense new powers to treat, prevent, and cure disease." His work ushered in the current era of precision medicine. Among many other honors, Dr. Collins is an elected member of the National Academy of Medicine, the National Academy of Sciences, and was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Dr. Collins was appointed the director of the NIH by then President Obama and continued to serve during the Trump and Biden administrations. He oversees the largest supporter of biomedical research in the world, spanning the spectrum from basic to clinical research. It is my great honor to introduce Dr. Francis Collins, director of the NIH, who has joined us today to help us celebrate this momentous occasion. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Altus, for that kind introduction. And President Choi, thank you for inviting me to attend this very special occasion. Hello, Mizzou. It's great to be here. Today, we're celebrating the grand opening of the Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health building with its impressive architecture, the researchers that are going to occupy it, some already here, some to be recruited. This is going to be a great recruitment tool, by the way, this facility. I want to come here myself, I think. The equipment that you have, you've heard about the 7T and other things that are going to be situated in this building, which are going to be absolutely catalytic for discoveries, and the mission to pursue precision health in a way that's going to give answers that currently don't exist. And I'm glad to see it's called precision health instead of precision medicine, because precision health means we're also trying to keep people healthy. It's not just about treating disease, it's about how do you keep people from getting disease in the first place. That's something that I think this building and the researchers who work in here will be very much attached to. So what is precision medicine, precision health? What's this precision thing all about anyway? It's a term that's only been around for a few years, and I will tell you, it's kind of the opposite of one size fits all. We're all different. We have different kinds of environmental exposures, different health behaviors, different, DNA, I will have to point that one out too. And those basically are the way in which we have the opportunity to prevent or sometimes not prevent disease and then figure out how best to manage it. Cancer is certainly an example of this. Every cancer has a different set of misspellings in the genome. And if we want to manage a cancer in the most effective way, you don't want one size fits all. You want precision cancer genomics, which is now the kind of thing that will be happening here in a big way. My own sort of epiphany about precision medicine, I'll tell you a very brief story, came about 14 years ago when I decided I was going to try to write a book about this idea of how the genome could actually be useful in medical practice. And I decided it was probably time for me to have my own DNA analyzed. Now, mind you, I had the privilege of leading the Human Genome Project. I was running a research lab working on the genetics of diabetes. I thought I was not going to be much surprised by this. Well, I used an assumed name because I was afraid maybe the companies that were doing this might give a different answer if they knew it was me. And I actually figured, let's try 3 different companies and see if they give the same answer. And so the results come back, and you get this email saying it's ready, and I open it up and was somewhat dismayed to see that, in fact, I was not the perfect genetic specimen I assumed I was. That actually, based on my DNA, I was at about 2-fold, maybe 2.5-fold higher risk of diabetes than the average person my age. Well, I didn't want to get that disease. That's a disease my own lab worked on. Some of the things they tested in this genetic test, we had discovered this isn't fair. And yet, here it was. This is the result. So what happened? I got motivated. I said, okay, am I doing the right things to prevent this illness? Well, actually, no. I was about 35 pounds overweight. I was enamored of honey buns as the weakest part of my diet. You know what I mean. Come on, don't tell me you've never had a honey bun. And I was in no exercise program at all. So it got my attention. And I changed my diet, I changed my exercise, I lost 35 pounds and managed to keep it off. That was precision medicine in a very personal way. That's what we kind of are trying to achieve across the board now for lots of diseases, for lots of people. How do we use that personal information to enable people to stay healthy, or if they do develop an illness, to be sure that it's managed in the most effective way? I'm honored to be able to be here to celebrate precision health in this institution and expect great things to happen in this building. But before I sit down, I also have another thing I want to share with you, which is my great admiration and appreciation for the person for whom this building is now named, Senator Roy Blunt. Yeah, let's keep on cheering. As chairman of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Labor, Health, and Human Services, from 2015 to 2020, Senator Blunt was the most important person in the Congress to figure out what could be done to facilitate medical research and the investments that need to happen in there. And during that 6-year period, NIH experienced no less than a 43% increase in its budget. And most of that goes out there to places like this. So when you see the advances in medical research that have become possible in those 5 or 6 years, and the people who are coming into this field and finding it possible to get funded by NIH grants, this is the guy who made this kind of a trajectory happen, for which I will always be grateful. On top of that, he had very specific ideas about things that we might do that we weren't currently investing enough in. And during COVID-19, he and Senator Mnra Alexander came to me with a request to look harder at what we needed to do about testing for the presence of this virus. You remember we got off to a rough start with testing in early 2020. It was hard to get tests, and sometimes they weren't as accurate, and they took a long time. So something had to be done. And they proposed that we ought to, at NIH, start a program where we would invite those who had really cool technology ideas to bring them forward. And we would set up what they called a Shark Tank with business experts, technology experts, engineers, who would look at those proposed technologies and figure out which of those are actually ready to be invested in. And they appropriated $1.5 billion for NIH to do this. We had never done anything quite like this. It sort of put us in the role of being venture capitalists. And we loved that, by the way. And the technology that came forward was amazing. And in the space of 5 days after the appropriation, we had set up the Shark Tank. And within a couple of weeks after that, we had 700 applications. And we sifted through all of those. And today, there are about 2 million tests being done today as a result of that process, which we called RADx, Rapid Acceleration of Diagnostics. So if you go to the drugstore and say, I'd like a home test, and you pick one off the shelf, it's because of RADx. And it's because of Senator Blunt and Senator Alexander and the vision they had, where now we all see, boy, we need these things now. Had it not been for that anticipatory vision, we'd been in a very different place than we are right now. And he also has supported this effort that we're really working hard on now about what happens to people who've had COVID and they don't seem to quite get better? This long COVID that you may have heard about, which may affect as many as 1 out of 3 people who have COVID. What is the cause of that, and what can we do to prevent and treat it? So we have another big project at NIH, strongly supported by Senator Blunt, to try to figure that out, and we are going to figure it out to help those people. On top of all that, Senator Blunt and his wonderful wife, Abby, are dear friends of me and my wife, Diane Baker, and they've been great supporters of the Children's Inn at NIH, where kids come from all over the country for experimental treatments, many of them kids with cancer. And we have met there on many occasions and really had a chance to see how just incredibly sweet and poignant it is to spend time with those families. And so Abby serves as a trustee of the Children's Inn, as does my wife, Diane. So it's really been a remarkable experience being their friends as well as colleagues. And when Senator Blunt decided he wasn't going to run for re-election again, I decided, well, I'd better step down at NIH because the fun's over. There's nothing left here. So I did announce that a couple of weeks ago, and we had a good time at breakfast this morning talking about what we're both going to do when we grow up. And watch this space and see what happens with that. So here we are, looking at this magnificent building dedicated to next-gen precision health and improving the health of the residents of Missouri and the country and the world, because that's how medical research works. Breakthroughs that happen here will affect lives of people who don't even know that we're here today. So I am really proud to be able to be part of this and to say thank you to Senator Blunt and to the University of Missouri for helping make the future brighter, starting right here. This is going to be a place where discoveries happen. This is going to be a place that focuses on health, but also on hope, hope that you are going to give to people who don't even know we're having this ceremony, who may, a year or two or a decade from now, have their lives saved by the work that goes on in this building. Thank you all very much.
Incredible. Dr. Carlins articulated the very reasons why the Board of Curators decided to name this building after Senator Roy Blunt. Thanks to you both. Thanks to you both. Dr. Collins, you know, we have very high standards for faculty recruitment, but I think you passed the bar. So the provost has the offer letter in the mail with a return envelope, and we look forward to seeing you here. Your laboratory is going to be right there. In the next video, we're going to hear from Dr. Elizabeth Parks and the incredible work that she does on intervention and the impact that has on lives and transforming lives. So let's roll the video.
When I would come home from work, I would have to take a nap. I would not do much because I'd be tired. Just walking, getting in and out of the car would wear me out. My primary care doctor ran tests and got diagnosed for having fatty liver disease, and I didn't realize fatty liver disease could be fatal if I didn't take care of it.
Well, lots of people have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and they don't know.
Its incidence in the population is increasing very quickly. It's now estimated that almost 2/3 of the US population have some fat stored in their liver. And within the next 10 years, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is going to overtake cirrhosis and hepatitis as the primary liver disease in the United States. Not every drug works for every patient in the same way. And precision medicine allows us to do a better job at prescribing treatments. And patients who are willing to participate go through the tests so we can test how their liver is working. Once we do that, we work together as a team to analyze the data. We publish the data so other scientists can see it, and then physicians can begin to use that information for treatment. We are using diet and exercise to help people lose weight and get fit. We anticipate the liver gets better, and we want to understand how that happens. That information then can also be used to develop pharmaceuticals or new drugs, new medicines, new treatments for fatty liver disease.
I want to be around for my kids, even though they're grown now. They still need me, and I need them. This past 9 months, I've lost 40 pounds. I feel much better. I used to be on some medication and now I don't have to take those medications anymore.
This participant's gains to improve her own health will allow us to test how, when one person loses weight and gets fitter, the liver can cure itself. Precision medicine takes those studies to thousands of people. That really brings a promise to be able to do a better job at identifying treatments that are specific for an individual person. The NextGen initiative is designed to really put scientists together, elbow to elbow, and to increase our collaborations, producing new discoveries that wouldn't occur when someone works by themselves.
There will be a lot of equipment and key players all in the same space. We will be able to make these discoveries about individualizing diet and exercise quicker, which can lead to more precision nutrition in healthcare.
It is the path that all of treatments are going to go in the United States. And Missouri is really ahead of the curve in terms of bringing this initiative to improve healthcare, not only in the state of Missouri, but beyond across the United States. We're not 10 years away from a drug to treat fatty liver disease. We're much less than that. My hope for the future is that through expansion of our research efforts, through NextGen, we can move faster to find treatments for fatty liver disease.
I think it's great that Mizzou's doing this research and helping people. I'm proud to be a part of that.
Our next speaker is Rebecca Hsu, a undergraduate student studying computer science, and she's going to talk about the importance of infusing student success with research that can be done in a facility like this. So, Rebecca, please join us.
Sorry, pull this out. Thank you, President Choi. Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Hsu, and I'm a senior studying computer science here at the University of Missouri. I am very honored to be here among such distinguished leaders to speak with you today about my own undergraduate research experience. While I'm technically in the College of Engineering, I've had multiple opportunities to conduct interdisciplinary research with the School of Medicine. Specifically, I have worked with the Missouri Telehealth Network under Dr. Mnra Vaccine and the Missouri Cancer Registry under Iris Zachary. They are both incredible mentors who have supported me since freshman year to be an impactful researcher. Research has served as my path to understanding the world and seeking out modern solutions to societal issues. I am passionate about the broader impacts of my work and the potential for impacting health policy. Today, I want to specifically talk about my work with the Missouri Telehealth Network and the Show Me Echo project. There is an imminent need for quality, accessible care in rural communities around our state of Missouri. My role has been to analyze the travel and economic burden for rural patients to receive care. Through my computer science work, we have highlighted disparities in communities to better focus resources and outreach efforts. This aligns perfectly with the NextGen Precision Health initiative and its commitment to eliminate healthcare disparities. Ultimately, it focuses on improving the quality of life for all Missourians. Investments in undergraduate research have contributed to my student experience for the past 3 years. I have represented Mizzou on a national level as a 2021 Goldwater Scholar and a presenter for the Council of Undergraduate Research's Poster on the Hill event. I have also held 2 research internships with Harvard Medical School, which were possible because of my opportunities here at the University of Missouri. After graduating in May, I plan to attend graduate school to pursue my PhD in biomedical informatics. I am so excited to see where my future will take me, maybe into a career in academia to encourage the next generation of researchers. The NextGen Precision Health Initiative affirms the University of Missouri's commitment to science and belief in using research to improve society. Thank you so much.
Incredible. Incredible. Thank you, Rebecca. What an incredible student. The next video paints a picture of how this facility will enable researchers and clinicians to work closely together in the same space to reduce the time for bench to bedside applications. So let's roll the tape. A key emphasis of NextGen is to integrate the bench research to bedside translation.
Currently, it takes almost 20 years for new medications, new compounds to become therapeutics or the standard of care in the clinic. We will have the opportunity here at NextGen to accelerate that by having both basic scientists and clinical trialists under one building.
We wanted to really move discovery into the next generation, and we wanted to bring some of the amazing scientific findings to bear on the healthcare problems of Missourians. And one of our strengths at MU is the MU Research Reactor, which makes radionuclide drugs and radionuclide biomarkers for diagnosis of various diseases.
This very important project will interweave all of our schools and colleges, as well as MU Extension, MU Healthcare, and the Nuclear Research Reactor, so that we can realize the full benefit of research and training, as well as engagement in precision health. We're so proud to have so many colleges and schools that represent the very best faculty members who compete nationally and internationally. Among our faculty, we have members of the national academies, as well as a Nobel laureate in chemistry.
We have unique interdisciplinary resources for large and small animal models for biomedical research. NextGen is going to take our bench-to-bedside process to the next level.
It's not common that you find research buildings really this close to a hospital, which means that clinician scientists can come here and work with the basic scientists.
The scientists that work at the VA hospital and that work in MU Healthcare in the School of Medicine are often the same, and they do half their job in one environment and half their job in the other environment. It's all integrated. You can't do NextGen Precision Health without the MUHC, School of Medicine, School of Nursing, School of Health Professions, and other health professionals.
Each of these teams that are working on different diseases are working all in a big shared space and learning about the solutions that are being used for one disease and then how it may translate and be useful in another disease. That means for patients, diseases that were chronic and progressive may now be able to be arrested or even cured.
Our federal and state elected officials believed in our vision to create this innovative center that will advance our mission as an AAU research institution and to serve the health needs of Missourians throughout this great state.
The NextGen Precision Health building is a cornerstone of our commitment or reinvigoration for research excellence.
We utilize a number of approaches that go all the way from cellular models to studies in isolated vessels, studies in animals, as well as studies in human subjects through clinical trials.
It allows for people to not only recruit patients to the hospital, but to be able to have clinical trials working with them. Just the proximity, it fast tracks our ability to get more patients in here that would otherwise not be able to get. We can answer our questions more quickly, and ultimately, with speeding up the whole process, is we can identify treatments that we can get to the population more quickly.
I am a researcher, but above all, I am a physician, so my ultimate goal is to improve patients' lives. And discovering and researching new therapeutics definitely make an impact on that.
We've added 2 new partnerships that exist in this building on the day we open, and those are the partnerships with Siemens and Thermo Fisher. On the Siemens partnership, we're imaging whole organs. On the Thermo Fisher partnership, we're imaging cells and molecules.
We are getting a 7T MRI, which is the highest field strength MRI used for clinical patients.
As a result of that Siemens partnership and bringing in equipment like that, we are getting contacted by imaging researchers throughout the country that want to come here to Columbia, Missouri to be able to use this piece of equipment to further their precision imaging research.
We are committed to hiring the very best and providing the resources for them to succeed.
When you can take research into community and partner with them
and have them have a longer life. You're not just changing behavior, you're changing life. And to me, that is exciting. It is not only something good to do, it's not just an opportunity, it's an obligation. It's our mandate to serve Missourians.
Well, as you can see, the NextGen building really is a game changer. And I am honored to lead this effort alongside President Choi and Dr. Tom Spencer. In my role as a physician, I see the results and advances in precision medicine every time I go to clinic. I can see amazing examples of infants and toddlers and children with devastating diseases like spinal muscular atrophy and Duchenne muscular dystrophy, who can now continue to develop like normal children with new precision health medications. In the past, these children would quickly have lost their abilities to walk, and many would have died. And I have young patients now with spinal muscular atrophy who were born before the availability of these precision drugs, who suffer from the debilitating effects of the disease with weak muscles, and their younger siblings who are able to get these precision health treatments at birth, and they receive them early in life and they develop normally. It's truly a miracle of modern medicine. And Dr. Collins and I were talking about that earlier. We can see precision health in practice every time I go to clinic. So working together, we can now diagnose and treat these diseases, all due to advances in precision medicine. And they're all made by scientists and researchers like those who will work in the NextGen building and other labs across the University of Missouri. Last month, the Board of Curators unanimously voted to name this building the Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health building in recognition of U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's commitment. Senator Blunt is committed to this facility, the university's key priorities, and most importantly, to the pursuit of higher education that millions of Americans strive for each year. So it's fitting that a facility built on such a bold vision to revolutionize health for our citizens and for the world should be named after a bold leader with 30 years of public service, representing the state of Missouri and supporting higher education and being a champion of health research. As you learned in today's program, NextGen has already helped Mizzou attract world-class researchers and secure partnerships with Siemens Healthineers and with Thermo and others, partners such as the Veterans Administration, of which Senator Blunt has been a key backer. Additionally, Senator Blunt has been instrumental in securing millions of federal funding related to research across the campus, and more recently through the NextGen Precision Health Initiative. Senator Blunt's support has resulted in nearly $30 million into scientific labs on this campus, and his support has also resulted in a higher priority set on medical research investments nationwide, as Dr. Collins was alluding to. His support has also resulted in opportunities to access higher education for countless students through increasing Pell Grants and funding for campus aid programs. As a fifth-generation Missourian and as a first-generation college graduate, Senator Blunt is a strong partner for the University of Missouri and for our precision health. Naming the NextGen Precision Health building in his honor cements his legacy as a Missourian who profoundly changed lives throughout the nation. Senator Blunt, thank you for your invaluable contribution to the University of Missouri. And before I turn the microphone over to Senator Blunt for his remarks, I'd like to ask Provost Ramshan and MU Vice Chancellor for Research and Economic Development, Tom Spencer, to unveil a print of a bronze plaque that will be placed on the Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health building to mark this historic day and naming. Thank you, and ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome U.S. Senator Roy Blunt.
Well, thank you. Thank you. What a great day. Even the weather, perfect today, and such a great moment to be here with you. President Choi, thank you for all you did to associate me with this building, and particularly thanks to the Board of Curators for that honor, but also to the Board of Curators, this one and the ones that served before, to really have a vision for the difference that this building could make to this university, and as Congresswoman Hartzler said, to the whole world. Things will happen here that will impact people all over the world because of what the university committed itself to, and will happen in ways that they wouldn't have happened otherwise. And so I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful that Abby could be here today, and my son Andy and my daughter Amy, two of my grandchildren, Eva and Davis, representing everybody else in our family. Abby and Diane and Francis and I are good friends. In fact, I remember that 14-year ago report you got back because you were sitting by Abby at a dinner that we were all at that evening, and on the way home, she explained to me what the report showed and what you were going to do about it, and what you were going to tell your brothers and sisters they should do about it. And then she told me what I should do about it, which was even worse. You know, a great Missourian, Mark Twain, said, "There's nothing more frustrating than a good example." And that was a time when that was exactly true, that I was frustrated and my behavior was challenged by your decision to do the right thing. But Francis, it's so great to have you here today. Your leadership in this whole area of research and medicine is so important. Dr. Collins led the Human Genome Project, a project that I think at the time we thought we might get done in a generation, and in less than a decade, that project is completed in a way that allows us to look at all other things. And by the way, after completing that project, another important part of Dr. Collins' life is his faith. And that led to a book he wrote called The Language of God, and a sense that no matter how much we think we know, this couldn't have just all happened accidentally. And one of the unique things that Dr. Collins has done is be a great advocate for science and a great advocate for faith at the same time. And I know that's one of the things he wants to focus more of his time on as he moves to what comes next. When I started chairing the committee that Dr. Collins referred to 7 years ago, one of the first things I had a chance to do was go to Philadelphia, to the University of Pennsylvania at Philadelphia, where Dr. Carl June was working on a project with about 70 individuals, from I believe a 10-year-old girl to a 72-year-old man. Not the first person to think about immunotherapy and what it might do, but the first person to work with 70 or so people to see what difference this might make. This is 7 years ago. There are 70 people in the United States part of a immunotherapy effort to see what can happen. And here's, within 3 years of that date, immunotherapy was one of the basic checklist things for all the blood-related cancers. It was the first real national effort. Dr. Collins came to our committee with presentations like you saw today, talking about the importance of ramping up that CAR-T resistance. As he said, all of us have somewhere in us the ability to fight anything that would attack us, but successful attackers overcome what you have that helps you fight back. And what we're learning to do now is how to figure out how individually we can make it more capable and more likely to be able to win that fight in fighting back. The Mnra vaccine, developed, largely built on decades of NIH research. The first vaccine, I think, that didn't give you a dose of the disease and make you immune that way, but alerted your system on what to look for and how to fight back when your system saw that, all huge breakthroughs in what can happen. In fact, in that case, we think that generally if in a COVID-19-like variant, in the future, maybe within 60 days or 90 days, you could have a vaccine. Not the 3 years we would have expected 2 years ago, or the 9 months we miraculously saw happen with an intense effort to get this done, but within a few weeks, identify the marker, figure out what to do about it, make it available so that people could immediately start that personal fight in fighting back. And when we started talking about how NIH research really hadn't grown in a decade, not even at the inflationary level, and we're going to make that a priority, a big problem with young researchers being unsuccessful, competing with veteran researchers for a pile of money that was about 22% less than it had been a decade earlier, and just simply leaving the research field. And I think that 43% increase over 6 years, the 70% increase, I believe, Dr. Choi, on this campus makes a difference in people doing what they can to try to stay in a field that can be very frustrating, because a lot of research projects don't produce the result you hope for, but you don't even get to find that out if you don't get the assistance you need. So the idea of research, the idea of personalized medicine, I think this puts the University of Missouri at the very front ranks of where medicine is today and will be in the foreseeable future. What the Board of Curators decided to do, what the administration decided to do, President Choi's commitment that we're going to spend more money here than we've spent on any building ever before and make it a place where researchers want to come, a place that students want to be part of, and a place where partnerships like those that have been talked about today will occur that just simply wouldn't have happened otherwise. And if they did happen otherwise, they wouldn't have happened here. It's a big moment for our state. Obviously, it's a big moment for me and my family. I am grateful to be associated with such a forward-reaching project of such great potential. To be able to work for Missourians for 4 decades and look forward to another 15 months of doing that, really important to me. But it's hard to imagine a highlight greater than this one. Thank you for sharing this moment with me and including me as part of the future of this great facility and a contact and a relationship with the University of Missouri at Columbia that growing up I couldn't have imagined possible. Thank all of you.
Thank you, Senator Blunt. And I always make it a point not to correct the senator, but since he's retiring, maybe I'll give it a try. But Senator Blunt, your contributions to NIH research funding has been phenomenal. And during the past 5 years, this university, despite the trials and tribulations that this university faced, our phase 1 federal research proposals grew by 88%. And that's thanks to the faculty members and the students and the administrators that believed in the vision of this university strengthening our AAU and flagship mission. I'd like to ask the Blunt family to stand and be recognized for all of your contributions and your selfless dedication, allowing Senator Blunt to support not only our citizens, but citizens throughout the United States. Now it's time for the ceremonial ribbon cutting. So, Dr. Spencer, can you lead the group, please? Curator Sunvolt, can you join us? Oh, former curator Sumvo, but once a curator. All right. The Roy Blunt NextGen Precision Health Building is open for business to improve and save lives in Missouri and beyond. Thank you so much for your support, and let's have a great day of exploration of this beautiful building.